All right, so we have Anna in the house. No, but well done. Honestly,
Thank you.
super pumped. You have you. I think you're the quickest person to
Am
complete
I?
the entire program. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
You've been churning it
So it's
through,
doable.
so it's doable. Yeah, for sure. Um, but no, I'm very impressed with how you've gone through it so fast, and it's amazing to see. So look, where you're at, you hit your
Uh,
first 10K.
I hit my
Um,
yeah.
um, where were you before you started with us? Where were you, like, in
Well,
terms of, did you have systems set up, anything online set up?
no. There was nothing online set up. I mean, I still have a website, right, with my services, but I was not really using it because, again, for people to come to your website, there needs to be a system, and I didn't have a system in place, right? So I was mainly doing the organic, reach to clients. So the usual way through, emails and blogging and podcasting and all this kind of stuff. It works, but it takes a long time. It takes a long, long time. It takes years. So that's not really something that I was, um, willing to continue doing. So I just thought that maybe there is another way how to get clients faster, instead of just like relying on free content mostly.
Mm.
That will kind of hook up the next client. Yeah.
Yeah, that's obviously, like, I feel really sorry for a lot of people today because they can't distinguish the difference between, layers of systems, and like a lot of people follow what other people are doing online, and it looks like, okay, cool. I'm not saying those are complete waste of time. Like, the fact that you've got those assets will be good for the future,
Yeah.
but like, podcast, loads of free content, blogging, for example, is a never ending, you know
Never.
never ending journey. And sometimes, the majority of people that start with those assets, that's the problem. Starting with those assets and being clear on, how do you actually get a paid client? Those are what we call million plus activities, podcast, increase your branding, all of that stuff. So hey, look, if you could have saved yourself the 6 years,
No,
would
I,
you have been happier?
course, of course. No, I think that the problem is that the investment is huge if you're doing something in an organic way,
Hmm.
especially with podcasts. I keep telling everyone in the COA family, don't do it, only because um, you don't know how well your episode went on in air. Like there is no feedback, so you're just doing it, and it's like talking to a wall,
Hmm.
basically, because you have no information. So it takes too much of your time, and you realize that you might get more followers but not necessarily more clients.
Yeah,
So
and unfortunately,
that's
like,
very hard. Yeah.
like with 2 years on after COVID, I've seen, unfortunately, even more people
Podcast.
get, well, yeah, just like people like, I don't like to slam the podcast because people like get really upset about it, but it is such a fucking waste of time. It's
Enough
like,
about it. It is. Yeah.
it's unfortunately, it's one of those things that people assume that you have to have. And I still, and people say, well, Ed, you've got a podcast. I recorded that, set up call to actions, and then leave it there, and
Yeah.
that's it. But it is distinguishing between what you truly need and what you don't need. And as I said, look, you can do those things later when it becomes an asset for your business, but it will still only generate, a podcast will never generate a huge amount of revenue. It's always going to be, 0.1s, 2% of refining. So that is what it is. Anyway, so was there any decisions that held you back about joining us? Like, were you,
Literally no, because so I wasn't, in all honesty, I wasn't actively searching. Like, I mean, I was, but I never found your, website or whatever. And then we connected over LinkedIn, and then I got kind of more interested in the whole thing. But when I spoke to one of the consultants, I think she was like talking and talking. I'm like, lady, it's done. Like, I will buy the program. For me, it was maybe like 10 minutes process or something, like literally.
10 minutes?
Yeah,
Wow.
15 minutes.
Why?
Because she was, I mean, she understood my pain points really well. I told her like that I've done a lot of these, I paid for a lot of this kind of coaching services from different coaches, and I got always the same thing. And I just said like, just tell me that that's not it. She said, that's not it. So because we kind of both understood. It was a really interesting conversation, 11 p.m. It was really fascinating talk, but I told her like, this is not
with Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I told her like, this is what I know. I don't know exactly maybe what I need, but I know what I don't want.
Nice.
And
That's good.
Yeah. And I kind of
like
explained like, I don't need another person who is going to tell me that I need to make an email list of potential clients or blog for free for a magazine, whatever. So, and she's like, no, that's not it. That's not it. And it's like, okay, the floor is yours. What is it? She told me, and I said, I want to buy it.
Okay. So it was the things that you were clear on, the things that you didn't need, and you'd got to that point where you were frustrated with that.
Yes.
That's very good.
Yeah.
And so you knew that, I like that. What was the most frustrating then? So was it just like putting a lot out there and not really getting what you wanted?
I mean, if we talk about number of clients, or like you feel, or at least I felt, I'm not going to generalize, but I felt that I was like living a Groundhog Day. Do you know what I mean? Like you wake up, you put a lot of content, which is good content. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not actually just free. Like people can technically use this. So you feel like, first of all, you are kind of giving away something that is yours, that can be used also by other people. It can also be used by people to help themselves. So it's almost like a self-help free content. And then you wonder like, why would even now people buy from me? I'm giving away so much stuff for free. So you're kind of circulating in this endless battle with yourself, like how much to put, what to put out there. You're doing this podcast. In the beginning, I had to pay for them as well. So it's kind of like, you don't kind of like, that was so frustrating because you're putting out so much of your, let's say, work, and then no clients behind.
Just not appreciate being like, it's just undervalued, isn't it?
Yeah.
How did that, what is that feeling specifically?
Well, for me, it was like, I've been doing this for 10 years. The first 6 were great, but that was a different context, and we can talk about that. But the last 3, when I moved back to Europe, it was really like mentally draining for me. Like I lost like all self-esteem, self-worth, self-respect for me and myself and my work. And I just wanted to quit. Like, and then I quit for 5-6 months completely. I was just like, I cannot do this anymore. I feel used and abused, like, you know, in a way that like, just, I don't see how I'm, you know, going to recover from this. So then I think that your message and talking to Alex came at a good time, because during COVID, I had some rough time with my family, and then I was like, okay, when I come back from vacation, I'm gonna do something about this. And then she called, and she was exactly the type of person that was, you know, good for me to talk to. So then I was, but also I put so much pressure on myself with the program. So there is that as well.
It's good though. Yeah, look, we hear that a lot, and that you transform people with something you truly believe. Like you really care. I can see it in your posts. You really care about helping people get the real understanding around, you know, emotional eating, which is massive. It's such a great offer. I love it. I used to have an emotional eating pattern myself back in the day. I used to have a binge eating pattern, and I went down that process. So it's so empowering. But like, I know what it's like when you're giving so much out and you're just like, you know, there's nothing left to give, and yet you still, you know, like, because we were there, we used to do front end live free events en masse, and you know, it was just like there's something missing. And so I'm really glad that you were able to make that decision, because most people in today's world, like, it's either they either give up, or like it's very interesting because of the overload, they either just continually go further back, they never actually seek for the right help, or because they have sought help and it hasn't worked. So look, that brought us here today. Anyway, so look, what's been the best thing so far for you? Look, we haven't even fully automated you smashing it, but like, what's been the best thing so far in terms of anything like specifically from clients and automation, whether it's the support, whether it's the community, whether it's like the closer process, whether it's the setting up an ad, whether it's ads done for you, the funnels, the templates? What do you think would be the best thing so far for you?
Well, one is that I really didn't consider myself capable of doing anything technology related. You know what I mean? That's like a personal, it's like a big one, because I'm not into it. Like, I would pay someone to do this for me. I just want to create content and work with people. I'm not interested in that part. So I had to push myself truly out of my comfort zone to accept and embrace the technology. And I'm not talking mainly maybe about ClickFunnels, but more about the ads, because I used to do ads on Facebook, but not this way. So this was like another level.
Let me pause you 1 second, because look, that's like, when you start to scale, look, you can outsource, but now you understand.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the difference. And so most people go, well, I'll just get an agency to do it. But you know, the fine tuning of what we were talking about in the last session, like when you're fine tuning your message, that viewpoint of understanding it is the essentials. And now when you can scale, you can outsource, knowing what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah, going through the process is a must. Just like figuring out everything, like the sequencing, the funnels, the ads, and how they all kind of combine. Like that was huge for me. But on the other hand, I would say that I didn't, like, you hear when you buy a program that people will support you. Do you know what I mean? But again, because of my previous experience, I didn't think that whenever I send something on the group that someone will be awake or whatever, like within an hour.
We've got shifts.
Yeah, you have shifts. Yeah. So, so the support of people replying, that's great, because you're not left too long with your question or anxiety lingering.
Yeah.
Like you can kind of move on.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would say these two things: the support, and then kind of this whole technology thing was huge for me.
Nice. Okay, cool. Having like, again, as the business owner, strategic overview. Okay, cool. What is there, if you hadn't have joined, like, what would have been the cost for not having what you've got now?
I would say, well, I made a decision. So before joining your program, like with myself, I made a decision. If I don't get this thing done and working somehow by the end of the year, which is now, I'm going to quit this. Like, I was ready. Like, I wanted to quit because I wasn't able to live with myself anymore. Like, I really felt like a failure. I cannot do it. Like, I was done. And I said it to everybody so that they will keep me accountable.
Like, it's over.
That it's over. And I sat down with two of my friends and I said, listen, like, it's done. I will give advice for free for anyone. I will just not do it as a job. So that was it. I was like, so, and because I was kind of in that mindset, I took some newspaper and I was like, okay, where can I find a job? Just like, I already started searching for something else, because like my mind was clear. I will not embarrass myself in front of myself anymore. And then I was just looking like, okay, waitressing is also fine. Like I was like ready to give up, like truly ready to give up. For me, I was probably at my lowest, like self-esteem wise and things like that, like somewhere in June, July. And then I read your message. I'm like, oh my God, this is another marketer. I'm not interested. I'm going to go on vacation, come back. But then I was kind of looking a little bit, testimonials from the people who work with you. I was like, okay, maybe this is something a bit different. Let me get a little bit acquainted with this method and everything. So
why did you think it looked different?
Because again, like, I paid 20,000 euros before.
Wow.
Right? It didn't get me anywhere. But
Wow.
it didn't. No, it didn't really. I mean, for all the people out there, like it didn't, because the problem was that every program looked like, we will set you up your business, but then how you're going to sell it, we don't know. We're going to deal with the technical part. Like, we're not going to get you a website. We're going to get you, you know, booking setup, whatever, payment setup. You have everything set up, and then you have no clients.
Yeah.
So that was the difference, is because, like, I understood that in this program, there is something very much like related, or mainly related, to how to get clients on automation.
It's all the clients. That's
Exactly.
the whole thing. And then,
Not
so
like
we don't even talk about the setup of your business.
Exactly.
You know, the focus is to get flowing clients. And that's what people don't want to talk about, because an agency, it's easy to put a funnel together, and then they're left with a template.
Knowledge, right? There is the knowledge behind it. If you don't have the knowledge, how can you sell it? So you just keep selling that you need a website that you will promote on your social media.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah.
So look, what I love the most as well is because the truth is, the real pain points are the, you know, where we look to get people, because the true pain points is where you can go from, you know, total, like, I'm giving up, to because pain drives, you know. So that's such a great,
oh no, my journey
such a great
in the last month.
wow.
Crazy.
Yeah. So how good does it feel now then? Where are you at?
Now it feels like I don't think that someone asked me, well, one of these people who thought that I was giving up. So one friend, she asked me, so how do you feel? And I said, I truly feel now unstoppable. Like,
nice.
because it is on me, and it is on doing the work, but I have the faith that it can work. Like, I'm not like doing something with having thoughts in my head, like, this is not working, why am I doing it? You know? So, so I feel, I don't know, I've never sold for this amount either. So like, that kind of, also my relationship with money has changed a lot.
We increased that quick.
Yeah, but like, this whole how you buy, how you sell is really true for me, because I don't spend too much time on the phone for some reason.
Because you are a doer. You know, you don't have time for wasting, and you can make a quick decision. Those that can make a quick decision, like, it's people don't, it's so cliche, and I talk about it a lot, but like, how you make decisions defines your life.
Yes.
Right. And it's that's like, as you start to get, like, there's so many decisions to build a business, there's so many decisions in life, and if you are someone that cannot make a decision, then nothing's going to happen ever. And the closer that you get to that, and the more pain that you realize, shit, I'm never going to do it unless I start making fast, quicker decisions. And like, there's a whole shit ton of decisions in life. The quicker you make them, and then make them as right as you can, rather than breaking down the decision and just going for it. Honestly, it's a pleasure to work with.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree.
What would you tell someone who was on the edge of joining, and they were like,
I keep telling these people, they contact me online. Yeah, no, I keep telling them. No, I think that there is a fear among people. Like, is this just another program
scam?
Where, again, not even a scam, because it's not that previous things were a scam. It's just like, if you want to make money out of it, if you want to make a business, it will not work. So if someone asks me, I'm like, there is a methodology to get clients. Like, that's the only thing I keep saying. This is only about getting clients, and kind of being specific, you know, about what you're selling. So everybody go for it.
I feel it's very difficult for me to talk about these things these days, because like, the majority don't have a system or a process. The majority are literally out there, you know, wasting. And this is, you know, I've done a 10-year plus, you know, of investigating what coaches, consultants do, and the majority waste their time day in, day out, and yet nothing can really convince them anything else. And so I'm just always like, it's, if other people are doing it, there must be a better way to do something. And so therefore, I don't know whether it comes down to coachability, ego, I don't know what it is. I've noticed a huge amount of ego since the last 2 years.
Yeah.
and the truth is less and less people will be able to get the result without following a process. So the majority will be in this disgruntled purchaser of like, it's not possible for me. And a very small percentage will make it possible.
I've been contacted by a couple of people who asked me about your program. And I told them the same thing, like I cannot enter into any details, but like for me, that's the key. What makes a difference between something that I've tried before is that nothing was, you know, oriented towards sales and clients and actually growing the business.
I get it. I mean, right. That being said, look, Anna, I appreciate you. Give yourself a hand. I'm so excited for your journey. And it's a pleasure having someone that is so streamlined and easy to work with. That, you know, that's how we design our processes, so that we do work with people that are easy to coach. Otherwise, the whole thing falls down. So look, that being said, let's get down to your next steps.